Hey, Frank from Buildlane here. We have a new version of our quote request form, and I'm going to show you some changes. So first, you'll notice that you now have to choose what type of furniture you're building, either casegoods or upholstery. And this is because the new form, it asks you different things depending on what you choose. So real quick, we're just going to go with bed first, just to show you what I mean here. Also notice as you're typing things, it's now saving as you go, so you can always save and submit later, and that has this in your drafts. This doesn't get submitted to us for an actual request until you click request a quote. So we're going to do bed. There's some small new things, indoor, outdoor. Dimensions, we are asking that you give us these dimensions here, the overall dimensions. We also have a few additional dimensions, and then even more here if you click down here. So these are things depending on what type of furniture it is, these are different. So these are based on it being a bed, right? But these, of course, are all optional. We also have a new thing called add a note. So each section has a note. These are internal notes for you and your team. These are not looked at when we're quoting the piece. Upholstery here, some cool things. We now have, when you're choosing your seam style, we have images to help you decide better. Same thing with tufting. We have different examples of tufting to illustrate those a little bit better. And cover material works pretty much the same way as it did before, fabric or leather. One big difference is you now need to tell us where on the piece it is, and this is required. So for some things like this bed, maybe the whole entire piece is one single fabric, or maybe the headboard's going to be different than the side rails and the footboard. In that case, we would do this and then add a second cover material. And I don't know the fabric details yet. We haven't decided, but we'll add those later. And now you have those two things. So when you get that quote back, it'll have the COM requirements for both those. Another new thing we have here is the exposed elements. So this is actually got a lot more going on here. So exposed elements are anything that's not the upholstery or the main wood. I guess it's any exposed element. So first, let me show you wood finish. So now you can choose your wood species. And even though we're talking about a bed, let's imagine the legs. Let's say it's got some cool legs that we want to figure out exactly what we want here. So builder's choice, of course, you can always do that. Or you could choose one of these, and 4 of these have special Buildlane stock. So if you have received one of our flat finish sample sets, you know that alder, maple, walnut, and white oak have their own stock finishes that you can select from. Another new thing is you now can select if it's going to be solid or veneer. So in our network of builders, we have some builders that love doing veneer and some builders that love doing solid. Sometimes the design of the piece dictates which of these is the best option. Sometimes it doesn't. Like a dining table, for example, you might want it to be in veneer or you might want it to be in solid. It's just depending on the design. So in this case, I'm going to click veneer. Which actually, that doesn't make any sense. I'm just doing legs on a bed, so I'm going to do solid. And then so now I have these options. Of course, I can always send a physical sample. We'll make a copy and send you both back to you. You can do paint. We'll go into paint real quick. So paint, similar as before, kind of. But now you can say the Benjamin Moore or Sherman-Williams number. So for example, what's a Benjamin Moore? Let's go with creamy white, which I just was looking at a piece that had that. And the color code on that is OC7. And then you could choose your sheen. So let's just do satin. Where is it going to go? This is going to be the legs. All right, cool. Looks good. And then just to go back to this wood finish, if I were to have chosen white oak, solid, and then, actually, let me just edit this one. I don't want to do paint anymore. I'm going to change this from paint to stock finish. And you can see here, because this is white oak or walnut or maple or alder, that we have our stock finishes there. So I could choose pistachio and for the legs, and I'm all good there. And there it shows it up. Pretty cool. Also, we have different options, hardware COM if you're doing poles, or a bed if you're going to send us the legs. You could do that there. Metal, you can specify what type of metal you want used. Let's say you want us to do custom metal legs. Cool. These are the finishes that you can choose from. These are plated finishes. Let's say brass and polished brass. Cool. And this is, again, going to be legs. All right, this is just an example. Can't have two legs, one thing and the other thing. Construction options. So this is depending on what type of piece. This is different now. So you can see the mattress size. You can change that here. Bed type. So you have box spring, platform, other. Maybe it's sleep number, right? And then do you want storage? Sure, I would love storage. I don't know how it's going to work with sleep number, but we'll figure it out in the shop drawing phase. So let's say 2 drawers. And then, of course, additional notes like you did before. And then, like I said, you can save this to your drafts. You can also archive it if you messed up and want to start over. Or if you press the request a quote, it actually will go to our team. I'm going to archive this quote, and I'm going to do another new one just to show you some different options. Let's do a dining table. And so, again, we have indoor, outdoor. We have the dimensions that are required. You can now see that it's asking us for the top thickness. Very cool. 1 7/8. Oops. Oh, right. That's right. If I do 1.66, something like that, or 5, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it'll automatically convert that to the common way that this is written at a carpentry shop. And then we talk about the leg height and that. And there's some other dimensions that are specific to a dining table, right? And then again, we have exposed elements like before. So with a dining table, you do have to do an exposed element. The dining table itself is an exposed element, right? So we do walnut. We want to do solid. And we can once again choose stock finish. Sounds good to me. So I do need to say the entire piece is going to be. And that we can choose joints like always, and then we can add the additional notes. And so that's pretty much the new RFQ form. It works just the same once you submit the quote. You'll get that quote back in 3 to 5 business days. And of course, you can send us a message down here if you have any questions about your quote. All right. Thank you.